Hello, friends! Have you ever tried learning English but ended up feeling lost or stuck? Perhaps you know some grammar and vocabulary, yet speaking still seems difficult. I completely understand because I've been through that myself. But don't worry, I'm here to help. In today's video, I'll share the simple yet powerful tips that helped me go from feeling nervous to speaking with confidence. Whether you're just starting out or you want to get better, this channel is all about making English simple and practical for everyday use. Stay with me, because by the end of this video, you'll see just how straightforward and enjoyable learning English can be. My name's Sarah, and today I want to share my journey with you. I wasn't always good at English. In fact, I struggled a great deal in the beginning, but over time I found useful tips and methods that truly helped me. I believe they can help you too, no matter your level. So let's go back to the start of my journey. When I first decided to learn English, I had no idea where to begin. There seemed to be too much to take in. Words, grammar rules, pronunciation. It all felt overwhelming, and I couldn't imagine how I would remember everything. But one day, I realized something important. I didn't need to learn everything at once. Learning English or any language is like building a house. You start with the foundation. For me, that meant focusing on the basics I could use in daily life. Simple words and phrases, greetings, introductions, and common questions. Words such as hello, thank you, how are you, and goodbye. I even carried a small notebook to jot down new words and review them whenever I had a spare moment. At first, speaking English in front of others made me nervous. I was afraid of making mistakes. But here's the truth. Mistakes are part of the learning process. I made plenty, but instead of getting upset, I learned from each one. Every time I said something wrong, I tried again until I got it right. So here's a tip. Don't be afraid of mistakes. The more you practice, the better you'll become. Listening helped me a great deal as well. I used to think I needed to understand every single word, but that isn't necessary. Simply listening to English regularly, whether music, TV shows, or podcasts, helps your brain get used to the language. For example, when I was living in Edinburgh, I used to listen to a radio show from London on my way to work. At first, I didn't understand everything, but over time, my listening improved without me even noticing. Another thing that made learning more fun was finding something I loved in English. For me, it was TV shows. I began watching a series I enjoyed with subtitles in my own language, then switched to English subtitles, and eventually watched without any subtitles at all. It was difficult, but it helped enormously. Because I was watching something I liked, it didn't feel like studying. It felt like fun. Pronunciation was another challenge. Sometimes I knew the words, yet people still didn't understand me because I wasn't saying them correctly. It was frustrating, but I found a solution. I practiced aloud, even if it was just to myself. I would repeat new words until they sounded right. I also used online dictionaries with audio so I could hear the correct pronunciation. This was especially helpful with words that sounded very different from their spelling. Grammar was another mountain to climb. At first, I couldn't remember the rules and often mixed them up. But then I realized you don't need perfect grammar to communicate. Of course, grammar matters, but it shouldn't stop you from speaking. Small mistakes are fine as long as you're understood. So I focused on getting my message across, and gradually my grammar improved. Reading in English helped as well. I started with children's books because they were simple and had pictures to guide me. Later, I moved on to short stories and then online articles. I didn't always understand every word, but I got the main idea, and that was enough. Reading also helped me learn new words in context, which made them easier to remember. One of the most important lessons I learned was consistency. If you want to improve, you must practice regularly. I set myself the goal of practicing at least 15 minutes a day. Some days I did more, some days less, but I always did something, whether speaking, listening, reading, or writing. Over time, I saw real progress. Writing was another helpful exercise. I started by writing short messages to friends, then moved on to keeping a journal. Writing helped me organize my thoughts, practice grammar, and expand my vocabulary without the pressure of speaking live. One day, I found a language exchange partner online, and that changed everything. We would chat in English for a while and then switch to my language to help each other. Having a partner is one of the best ways to learn. It's not just about the language, it's about building confidence too. The more you practice with someone else, the easier real conversations become. I also used sticky notes to label things around my home, words like table, door, and fridge. Every time I saw them, I said them aloud. It may sound simple, but these small reminders made a big difference. Another tip that worked wonders was thinking in English. At first, I translated everything from my own language, which took too long, so I began forming simple thoughts directly in English, such as, I'm hungry, or I need to go to the shop. The more I did it, the easier it became. I also learned to ask questions whenever I didn't understand something. At first, I was too shy because I didn't want to seem silly. But I soon realized that asking questions is the best way to learn. Whether it was a word, a phrase, or a grammar point, I asked my teacher, my friends, or people online. The more I asked, the more confident I became. I even had funny moments. Once, after a big meal, I wanted to say, I'm full, but instead I said, I'm full. My friend burst out laughing, and once they explained, I laughed too. That's another tip. Laugh at your mistakes. If you take them too seriously, you'll get discouraged. But if you can laugh and learn from them, you'll feel more relaxed and confident. Patience is essential. Learning a language takes time, and there will be moments of frustration. I often felt like I wasn't improving quickly enough and wanted to give up. But I reminded myself that learning isn't a race. Everyone moves at their own pace, and that's fine. Even small steps, like learning a new word or having a short conversation, count as progress. I remember the first time I ordered coffee in Chicago. My hands shook as I asked for a cappuccino. I stumbled over the words, but the barista was kind and patient. When I finally said it right, I left with my coffee and a huge smile. That small success gave me the confidence to keep going. Setting specific goals helped me stay focused. Saying, I want to learn English is fine, but it's too vague. I broke it into smaller goals. One week, I learned 10 new words and practiced them in sentences. Another week, I aimed to have a 5-minute conversation. Each goal gave me a sense of achievement. I even set myself a big goal, giving a presentation in English for work. I was terrified, but I practiced for weeks and managed to deliver it, mistakes and all. The sense of accomplishment afterwards showed me that pushing yourself out of your comfort zone is scary, but it's how you grow. I also linked learning to my interests. I love football, so I watched matches with English commentary. At first, the fast pace was hard to follow, but over time, my listening improved. The same can be done with books, films, music, or anything you enjoy. When you're having fun, you forget you're studying. Making friends with other learners from different countries also helped. We corrected one another, shared tips, and laughed at mistakes. Having a supportive community made the journey less lonely. Looking back, I'm amazed at how far I've come. There were times I thought I'd never be fluent. But here I am, sharing my story with you in English. If I can do it, so can you. Be patient. Don't fear mistakes. Set realistic goals. Enjoy the process. You'll look back one day and be proud of how much you've learned. After gaining more confidence, I wanted to challenge myself further. I didn't just want to know the basics. I wanted to have real conversations, understand humor, and watch films without subtitles. It was daunting, but every step forward made the impossible feel possible. Confidence grows slowly, like building a wall brick by brick. I used to rehearse ordering food in my head before speaking, and if I didn't understand the question, I froze. But over time, I realized people appreciate the effort and are usually willing to help. Once in New York, I asked for a spin instead of a spoon. We laughed, and I relaxed. Mistakes really aren't the end of the world. Practicing with native speakers helped too. I had a friend who was patient and corrected me kindly. If you don't have a native friend, there are plenty of apps and websites for finding partners. These conversations expose me to natural English, with slang and idioms you won't always find in textbooks. I still remember the first time I heard "It's raining cats and dogs." I pictured actual animals falling from the sky until someone explained. Idioms can be tricky, but once you learn them, they unlock a new level of understanding. The biggest change came when I stopped thinking of English as a school subject and started treating it as a tool, a way to communicate, connect, and discover. Once, I used English to explore things I cared about, like reading articles or watching tutorials. It no longer felt like a burden. It became something I wanted to do. English wasn't just a subject anymore. It became a key that opened doors to knowledge, ideas, and friendships.